Hello everybody, Reggie Time here with a special edition of my Darkside series for a Friday night because we're playing some 100 nil instead of 20 nil. I typically play, or try to play, higher stakes at the weekends because I feel that's when games are best. And at the moment, because of the HUD issues on this network, for those of you who aren't aware, iPoker have changed the way they write hand histories right now, and tracking softwares are having a problem converting them all, or there's some technical issue anyway where it's not working. So I've kind of put my 20 nil challenge on just on a hiatus until hands start importing again. But I probably would have played 100 nil on Friday night anyway. The pool looked pretty good. There was plenty of people that appeared to be just one table in with various stack sizes. I have no problem playing without a HUD. I've done it for a long time on 888, so playing HUDless holes, no fears for me. And I just thought I'd take a shot. I haven't got that much of my bankroll on here right now, so it's not a risk as such because I'm rolled for 100 nil in general. I mean, 100 euros nil is obviously a little higher than $100 an L, but not so much so significant. The problem with the bankroll at the moment is because 888's had problems, iPoker's had problems, Full Tilt's just done an update, etc. My bankroll's pretty spread pretty far and wide across the whole internet. I've got money on Sky, Unibet. I actually haven't got any on 888 at the moment. I've got money on Full Tilt, Poker Stars, and iPoker. So whilst I'm rolled for 100 nil, I'm not rolled for it on any particular site. But it would be nice just to hit a little bit of heat, and if we can have a good Friday night, we can do ourselves some favours. I have no idea how these games play. I played a little bit earlier on today, and I did good. I think I made about 250 euros in maybe just half an hour this afternoon. But having said that, I ran really good. I ran really good. I think I flopped top set twice. Once in a 3-bet pot, once in a 4-bet pot, which is always nice. So it didn't really tell me much about the games. And that was about 8 hours ago. So the games could and should be very different now because it's now currently just gone midnight, Friday night into Saturday morning. We're going to 3-bet the pocket eights, the pocket queens, and we're going to, because this gentleman has a lower than 100 big blind stack size, we're going to make an exploitably larger sizing. Because I expect him to call more, I expect him to not be irregular, and I expect him to just call more. So with that in mind, I'm just going to 3-bet slightly larger of a value. Folded the King Jack suited there to the 3-bet. I don't know anything about these players, but I'm not of a mind to call 3-bets too often, although that could have been a little bit tight. Then with the Queen, so I'm just going to go all in. The problem is I expect him to have a wider range of doing this most of the time because I expect him to be a weaker player. So I expect him to have a stronger range for doing this. But I mean, it's not like I'm going to 3-bet full queen small blind versus buttons. So in it goes, and we hope to hold up. And that was a disappointing run out. Nothing much we can do about that. It's not what we want to happen when we're taking a shot, but by the same token, we got our money in really good, and what can we do? I probably need to keep that open because I have no idea about this player, but I need to. Oh, shame that's not going to go smaller, but I could do with remembering his username. So if we get any spots with him again, we can do it because we've gone. Was it Reynolds? Was he the man there? I think it was, wasn't it? Let's just put a note on if it was. Yes, it was. So we're going to put 4-bet King Jack off to BB, 1 versus small blind, call, shove. Just so, because normally I would just record those notes in my tracking software, but we can't do that here, so because the tracking software is not running. So hopefully that's saved. It appears to have disappeared again up there, which is a little bit frustrating, so it might not have saved. I'm not particularly familiar with the software when it comes to saving notes in the client. But I don't think I'll forget the name now. I've reminded myself of it a couple of times by searching for him, etc. So hopefully. Normally I wouldn't defend 9-7 suited versus a middle position open, but both of these players are short stacked, well, have less than 100 blinds, so I think we have way better implied odds than our money. For when we do make a straight or a flush, I think we have way more chance of getting paid off versus players with these stack sizes than we do versus regulars. I'm just going to check call here with the straight draw. Don't really see much value in raising. I don't think we have any fold equity. Unless, I mean, he's just having me 2 high cards, but I'd rather just try and realise my equity. If he bets our pot again here, I will just fold. Do I want to bluff? That is the question here. How often do I think he would just be stabbing with ace high there or something? I think I'm going to make a... No, in fact I'm not going to bluff, because I think I get called by ace high too often by bad players who just call for a chop. And yeah, he may or may not have folded that, who knows. But I think the amount of times I've gone for that spot, trying to bluff people off ace high, and then they just call anyway. These games seem pretty good with the stack sizes that are kicking around though, so that's promising. There you go, we don't need to see anything about my antivirus software just now. Could have squeezed the King 10 suited there, but I don't think I need to. I think it's strong enough to play for the call. And 3-betting the 10s obviously against a short stack. I don't know, he could be quote unquote professional short stacker, or he could just be some random guy who buys in short. I've no idea. 3-bet getting it in there was my line. It was the plan. I guess we could just peel maybe and try and play some flops, but in the light of lack of information about somebody, I'd rather just take the value pre-flop that I know I can get with a hand as strong as 10s. And if he's got the cue for 10s, well, he's got the cue for 10s. We're just going to run bad, and that's all there is to it. If this is a smaller open, I would have called. If he 2.5 XT or min raise, but I think with his stack size and the fact he's 3 XT, for me, it just about makes it a call. And this may be a call against somebody with 100 blinds, but against somebody with starting hand with just 50 blinds, again, it's going to be a 4 for me. I probably fold to more 3-bets than a lot of players would agree with. But I've got a strong opinion that people are generally just 3-betting depolarized ranges most of the time. Maybe not 100 nil, who knows. But in the games I typically play, value bet here with my flush 4-2 raise. I think people are 3-betting depolarized ranges, so we may call in ranges with things like King Jack, 10-9, 9-8, those kind of things. I think we're going to be in not significant trouble. We're not going to be in a good spot most of the time. And if I'm overfolding slightly pre-flop, I'm not too concerned about that, because I think I'd rather make a small mistake by overfolding just a little bit pre-flop then I would make a mistake by calling too much and getting him lots and lots of reverse implied odd spots post flop, and just making expensive second best hands a lot of the time. I do tend to play a little more passively pre-flop than most regulars. I like to think I make up for that by playing better post-flop than a lot of regulars. It's just my style. It's not for everybody, I understand that, but it works for me. Or at least it works for me in my usual games. Who knows if it works in these games, but they don't seem too tough, so maybe it will. We're going to 3-bet the Queen 8 suited here. This guy doesn't know me from Adam. I don't know him from Adam, but hopefully we'll get some respect. And we didn't. Well, not so we didn't get respect, but we certainly got called. I could see about this board. But I think it's the kind of board people check raise a lot on, with like a lot of high equity bluffs. I think we can still be behind like Queen, Jack, Queen, King. A lot of hands we can still be behind too. Going to fold the 9-7 suited on the button, so you can take a card off and then just try and keep the pot at a manageable size, and then, well, just try to keep the pot at a manageable size until he bets pot into me. I don't think I can fold for one bet here. Whether I'm going to call a river or not, I don't know. I may well call on bricks. Say the deuce of diamonds come, I may well convince myself to call. Oh, I timed out. As you see, I was just about to call there. That is quite annoying. It's quite annoying because I did not intend to fold there. Yeah, that's irritating me. But never mind. Could easily have saved myself quite a bit of money, so who knows. So on table 3 we've flopped a pair and a straight draw. I'm going to start by c-betting. Hope he doesn't raise. Now we flop trips, which is clearly very nice. I'm actually going to go for a check raise here, because I shouldn't have too much 9x in my range, and I think if I check here, he might bet for value or protection with Queen X, Jack X, who knows what, and then just get confused when I raise him. And with him choosing the sizing he has chose, I'm just going to shove. I wouldn't have shoved over a smaller bet, but he's pretty much potted it. Which makes me think he's probably not going to fold too often. And if he does, well, he just does. And he did, which is somewhat unfortunate. Was he going to bet me straight here on table 1? It's kind of hard to get paid on those boards, but yeah, we have to bet still. We have to bet because there's lots of 2 pairs he can have. He can have some slow paid sets that he's just pissed off with and might spike call. I'm going to 3-bet the queens. For pretty obvious reasons, and we're going to isolate the 10-9 off. It's the first time we've seen a limp. Oh, and it's renals again. Interesting. Ambiguous one. I seem to remember that username from some other sites. I think he may have played at 888 at one point. Obviously, it could be a different player. I'm sure there's more than one player in the world called Ambiguous, but yeah, it rings a bell. This might be ambitious against renals, but it's a pretty dry board. We can certainly get him to fold some hands that have decent equity against us. And if he stays in the pot, I'm just not going to try and bluff him at all, because I mean we saw how we played the King Jack. It's not in my game plan to try and bluff these guys once they show some interest in the pot. I'm just going to hope to river a 9 out of 10 here and hopefully suck out. I mean, I'm not even going to try and bluff renals here. Don't think he's going to fold a queen. He certainly isn't going to fold an ace. We don't really beat anything. Any of his draws, I mean, mean, guess we don't beat King 10. We don't really beat very much here, but by the same token, I don't think we make him fold very much either. We don't make him fold anything that's beating us. So we'll just check back. And there's no way I don't think he was folding. I don't think he was folding King Queen there, and I'm not sure why we're not auto reloading on table 2. Hopefully we will in a moment. Nope, for some reason auto reload is not happening. I'm going to bet here versus the Mississippi bet on table 1. Table 3, sorry. I don't expect to get check raised here very often. I expect people to check fold most of the time. Right, why is this reload not working? Let's see if it's working now. Not going to open because of the guy in the big blind stack size, and the reload has worked now, which is good. Do I want to 3-bet the ace-3 suited? I think I do because I'm in the small blind. If I was in the big blind here, I would almost certainly flat. But because I'm in the small blind, I'm more inclined to 3-bet now. Hopefully pick the pots open. If not, well, we can sometimes flop some equity and continue with that aggression. Ace check off. If that was under the gun, I would not be playing this hand versus an under gun raise, but because it's effectively versus the cut-off, we're going to start by peeling. I mean, again, I could have 3-bet there, but I don't know anything about him. I think ace check off's going to play just fine. We can definitely flop some good pairs and have him do our value betting for us. When he checks back the Queen 9x wet board like that, I expect him to have a lot of like ace high type hands, ace king, ace 10, some pairs. It's not the typical board people see bet, so you can definitely have some better hands still and some worse hands. The problem is here we just have nothing to look him up with really. I mean, I guess we could bluff catch against hands like ace 10 with the diamond or who knows what, but we're just going to give it up. Now, so as you can see, we are now approximately what? Tell me I'm recording. I'm not sure if I'm recording. That'd be funny. Yes, I'm recording. We're now 17 minutes in and we haven't been put in any tough spots yet. These games aren't playing that much different to the games that I'm used to. I'm not going to defend the 8-10 suited, although it is tempting. I'm not going to. As I said earlier, I'm not worried about overfolding and being exploited because these guys don't know me. So, I mean, if I was playing these games long term, I might have an issue with overfolding. I might have to defend a little bit wider. But right now, these guys don't know me. They're going to have to treat me as a random. And I mean, if they're getting out of line with it, good for them. But they can't possibly be exploiting me for folding too much because they can't possibly know right now that maybe I'm overfolding. My main goal tonight in this game is to hopefully find some weak spots and extract some value. That's what I do when I'm trying to play high stakes at weekends. I'm not here trying to set up image with regulars. I'm not here worrying about balance or anything like that, or worrying about protecting my ranges. I'm here playing in games I don't often play, hoping to find some soft spots and just make some money. Some of you may think that's dumb, some of you may not agree with that philosophy, but it's worked for me for a long time. I've often played hard at weekends and I've made decent money, so I'm not about to change that now. I'm going to c-bet this board and I'm going to continue barreling any 9, any heart or any king, because I just think it's really dry. I think we can get definitely caught by some hands that will eventually fold at some point. And if I don't turn any equity, well, I can just be done with it. Queen is probably a card that I'm going to barrel to. I should have mentioned that I was going to barrel any card above a jack also, like any Broadway type card, just because I think it would pick up quite a bit of fold equity with it. And I will be done with it. If I get caught here or raised, I will be done with the hand then. Maybe out at Ace River I would think about going for it, but yeah, most of the time when I double barrel in a spot like that, when I'm only barreling based on picked up fold equity and not picked up pot equity, it's very rare that I'll empty the clip. I mean, if a king or an ace come on the river I might bet, but I don't know. I just don't know, because I don't know anything about any of these players. I don't know. I mean, against some players, you know, you can just empty the clip and they'll call fold with a decent frequency. But I don't know that about these guys. Queen 8 offsuit. I think we're just going to 3-bet it, because why not? And 3x here because of the stack size of the guy's name, who I can't really pronounce in the big blind. Kuigish, who knows how he pronounces his name. But we've been 3-bet. Do I want to get 40 blinds in pre-flop with ace queen? Hopefully my time bank's going to kick in here, because I think I'd like to see just how many tables this Kuigish character is playing. If we can. Oops, this has been a bit of a screw up. He's 4-tabling, so I'm going to fold because he's 4-tabling. I think he's way more likely to be regular, like a short stacking regular, and I think his range is going to be pretty solid there for 3-betting versus my middle position open. I'm going to call here with the ace-4 suited. He's going to play absolutely fine in position. We're certainly going to be able to take at least one off here. And when he checks, we're just going to bet for value. Well, not bet for value, but bet for very thin value from that his ace high, so he's just check calling with. And also just to protect against anything that he might be, he might just have like a hand like King Jack or Ace 10 or something like that. I don't particularly give him any free cards if that's the kind of hand he's got. And when he check calls and then checks again, I think his range is going to be stuff like pocket jacks, pocket 10s maybe, pocket 9s. Doubt he c-bets, doubt he just checks a queen. Question is, do I want to bet again? That is the big question. Not as a bluff. Probably isn't going to work. Maybe you can get him off pocket 8s and pocket 9s, so maybe we can get him off pocket 8s and pocket 9s. This board ran out pretty bad, and his check called me twice now. It's hard to know. I mean, this guy might just be the guy here that just checks Queen Jack 3 times and just calls. But the king is a tempting card to empty the clip on. It's pretty tempting to empty the clip on the king. So I will. And far from convinced by that hand. I think my flop bet was fine. My turn barrel just to get folds from his pocket pairs worse than 10x, so check called the flop I think was fine. And then the river on the king. I'm not trying to make him fold a queen there. So I am still trying to make him fold some pocket pairs that got sticky. And I'm not sure if that river, I'm not sure if I might even win if I check. I'm not sure. But I think his range is pretty weak. But we don't beat all of it, so I think betting's going to be fine. We're not flopping well with our suited connectors tonight. I have noticed that. Could do with some improvement in my flopping equity skills. And again, for some reason, this table just does not want to auto reload, which is mildly irritating, but the solution to that is, what on earth is happening now? The solution to that is win a couple of pots, so we don't need to auto reload anymore. Just going to keep folding for now. Hopefully try and pay a little bit more attention to who is actually 3-betting us though. Because that's kind of important to know if it's the same person all the time or the same few people. Can I go for a back race here? This guy is 3-bet a couple of times, I think. I think I can. Go for a bet, it didn't work. But now we can just check raise or flop, so it's not a huge problem. Not giving me a massive problem as of yet. This is the upside of, well, it's the upside if we win the pot. It's the upside of just flatting pre-flop. We get to check raise with hands that people don't expect us to have sometimes. I mean, I did flat there, hoping we would get squeezed. It was kind of more of a hope than a knowing that the guy squeezes too much or 3-bets too much. But the upside of not getting squeezed when you've got a hand like 2 kings is you can check raise flops that you wouldn't normally check raise, unless you had a set or something like that. So it can work in our favour sometimes, but obviously we'd much rather someone just squeeze so we could back raise. Not sure what's going on with that €7 c-bet there on that board, but my measly pair of 2s couldn't handle it, so what can we do? If these games are typically like this, I could possibly see myself moving. Right, so we've been limp raised here to an absurd sizing, easy fold. I could see myself definitely moving all my bankroll here, because playing on this site in these games, if they're reasonably soft with the VIP deal that I've got, could certainly be a very profitable move for me. It might actually be my best option right now. So just move my roll here, and there's no 50 now, which is a problem. Just move into 100 now straight off the bat, and I think my game would need some work to get up to speed, because I've not played 100 regularly for a while now. So I definitely need some work, but I don't think it needs that much work, and the rewards I'll be getting in the meantime would certainly help compensate me for any losses that I may incur whilst I got up to speed. I didn't expect him to just flat there. That was unexpected. And now we've got not the best of flops, we've just got like a pot-sized bet left. I think the problem is if I bet, he's going to fold pretty much everything that I'm beating. I don't think I get called by worse. I think here, his bluffing range, or his betting range, is going to be wider than his calling range. So I plan to just check call here if he goes all in. Because he might just, who knows, he might just have a hand like ace-queen and just decide to just shove when I check. Now the question is, he's checked back. Do I bet, thinking he's not going to bluff, so therefore I may as well just protect my equity share? And that's what I'm going to do. And if he's checked back at king, well, congratulations, he was going to get my money anyway. But if he's not going to bluff, I may as well just have him fold. If he's got a hand like Jack 10, Ace Queen, Ace Jack, those types of things. If he's not going to bluff with it, there's not much sense in me letting him realise his equity for free and then paying him off when a 10 hits or a Jack hits or something. So yeah, I think checking the flop was fine there, because we're just a pot size bet left. There's not much damage can be done by checking, but when you didn't go for it, I think we're kind of obliged to just bet the turn, especially on a turn like that, which is, you know, it probably hasn't outdrawn me. Type 4 for me there, but I tend not to play pocket pairs from under the gun. I think we get 3-bet too often. I think it's just very hard to continue post flop most of the time. I've got a long held belief that they're not particularly profitable under the gun. Lots of people disagree with that. If they are profitable, it's just very marginally profitable in my opinion, and I don't think I'm missing out too much by not raising them. Hopefully we get 3-bet here, but we don't. We just get called and we see a pretty ugly flop. And continue the theme of the session, which is 4 to 3 bets. Do I want to see what this flop for value? Can I get value? Yes. I think we can definitely get some value from pairs, from some weakish draws. The ace is actually not the worst card in the deck for us. I mean, he can clearly still have an ace. I'm not saying that because another ace has come he doesn't have any aces, but it obviously reduces the aces that he can have. It just makes it more likely we have the best hand. Also makes it harder for us to get called by a worse hand as well. Unless he's thinking on the same lines I'm thinking, which is the ace, means I'm less likely to have one. So I think I will just go for some thinnish value again, and we will be folding to a raise. Although very much doubt we get raised too often on that board in that spot. I can't imagine too many hands that are going to want to raise there. Maybe sets, maybe full houses. But I think they raise to flop a decent amount of the time. So we have somebody who we suspect is a, for want of a better word, professional short stacker. Do we want to 3-bet 2s and get it in? And I think I probably don't. I probably don't. Flopping a set for once would be nice. And we don't receive that, but we do get quite a dry board. So maybe we can do a few things here. We can consider floating and then just trying to pick it up on some turns. We can just raise now because there's a lack of draws out there. I think it's more likely a raise would get some respect, and maybe get him to fold hands like pocket 5s, pocket 7s, pocket 8s, things like that. Oh, damn. Why am I timing out all the time? I mean, it's probably not the worst mistake in the world there to time out, because it was a marginal spot, but I need to figure out why it's happening, because it's the second video in a row that I've been timing out, and at the same time, because I've timed out, I've missed a c-bet on this top board. Yep, we've had a clusterfuck couple of seconds. Sorry about this, guys. But in my defence, it is quite hard to talk about what you're doing whilst you're doing it, particularly if for some reason time banks just aren't auto kicking in. I thought I had my settings set up to have auto time bank, but it's quite possible that I'm just out of time bank. Because it was popping up at this top left table. So it's just entirely possible that at tables 2 and 3 I just have no time bank. So we'll need to bear that in mind. Clearly going to squeeze the queens here. And we are going to get it in, but we're not going to be thrilled about it. We're going to 3-bet the 2 9s here too. That is not the best of flops. But that said, I think doing anything other than c-betting it would be just giving too much away in equity. I don't want to give too much, not in equity, that's probably badly worded, but just giving too many free cards away on boards like that isn't something I want to be doing. And I'm going to call the 9s off. Again, not going to be in love with it, but by the same token, not going to hate it either. And we, again, run pretty bad versus the fish, which isn't what we're wanting to achieve on a Friday night. That isn't part of the game plan. Running bad against the marks isn't what we're doing this for tonight. We're going to see bet really quite big on this board because the guy's stack size is pretty low, which indicates he's going to be a bad player, and also it's bought super wet. So I think we can definitely get lots of value. That is not a good turn card. And the question now is, do I want to value bet again, value / protection? Because it doesn't just have to have flushes here. And that risk against, I think I'm just going to go all in. I don't really want to check back here and have him get there with pocket 7s with a diamond or something like that. If it's made a flush, he's made a flush. Not much I'm going to be able to do about it. Yeah, and this is kind of the problem with my, not the problem, but the downside to part of my poker philosophy, which is play higher stakes at weekends. Because if you do run bad at them, it kind of fucks your entire month up. You know, if you like grind all week and you make 5 or 6 buy-ins at your typical stake, and then you blow 5 of them back at the weekend, you know, bum hunting or whatever it is you want to call it, it can kind of fuck your entire month up. But I mean, overall, it's clearly a plus CV thing to do. It's just when it doesn't work out, it can be quite disappointing. But flopping flushes is always nice with the nut flush, royal flush redraw. And I guess if we're going to run bad, running bad against people with out 100 big blind stacks, probably the people to do it against. So at least we're running good in that sense. Going to bomb this turn here, because I want to be able to shove the river really comfortably. Do I want to 3-bet the jacks for value against D-blitz? No, I don't think so, because the small blind coming along is going to add quite a lot of value to this situation. And if an overcard hits, I'm just going to have to deal with it. And also this can happen where we can now just, hopefully, I mean it depends. If D-blitz had come over the top again, I may well have folded there. But now I think we're just in a good situation to just, yeah, it's high variance. We're just going to back raise and, yeah, probably going to, well, not going to fold, let's face it, but wow, he snap called there, which makes me nervous, but flopping top set definitely eases my nerves somewhat. And I'm kind of hoping here he's got a slow played aces or kings or something like that. And he's just not going to fold. I'm not at all worried about flush draws and things. If he's got a flush or a straight draw and he hits it, well, good for him. if he somehow has like a who knows what of hearts here. I'm just going to deal with it, and then we set up the stack up nicely just to shove. And somehow he finds a fold, which is somewhat frustrating, but still, it's a good result for us. We won €75 without seeing a showdown, albeit with top set, which is a shame because we want to see showdowns when we make top set. But no, overall, got to be happy with the situation. Gonna jam the 9s here. I'm not sure, this may have been the guy who just caught with the 8s earlier. But we make 3-bet to any other size just makes no sense really when he stacks so small. So yeah, it's been a good session. I've enjoyed it. We ran bad, but I've enjoyed making the video. I've enjoyed playing the games. I'm going to continue playing the games when the video's ended because I certainly think there's plenty of juice in them tonight. Fish behind, so let's open our 2 kings for a bigger than usual sizing. This guy loves his pocket 8s. And we're going to bet here on this wet board, because when people don't see bet these boards, I think it's a lot of the times because they're just giving up. Because if they had a hand like some kind of overpair or something, you would imagine they'd start betting it pretty sharpish to protect. So I'm just going to triple barrel here, unless a club or something comes off. I think when it just runs out like this, I'm just going to go bet, bet, bet. Wow, well I was going to until he donked the river. Yeah, this is a strange line. I mean, obviously I can't call. But yeah, that's a strange line, because I was certainly about to empty the clip there, so I'm probably quite grateful that he bet, unless he bluffed me of course, in which case I'll be a little bit cheesed off. But the fortunate thing is we never know when we've been bluffed. We never know in speed poker because people just, they're gone. You folded, they can't show you. Even if they want to show you the bluff, they can't do it. Oh, it's going to be an interesting spot because we are deep with the 2 9s. Normally, you would not catch me calling 3-bet out of position with pocket pairs. But we are 165 blinds deep, so I think we can definitely do it here. And I am literally just set mine. If I miss and it comes down deuce 3 4 or 3 low cards, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to check fold. I'm not falling for that small 3-bet malarkey from someone like him. And now we're just going to 3-bet our 10s and get it in. Wow, that's a sizing. Yeah, so from what I was seeing from these games, people, there's a lot of weird shit going on. A lot of weird stuff. People just potting in 3-bet pots, and people just snap calling 4-bets out of position. Sorry, in position and square. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff going on, which leads me to believe, we're not in the Ivy League of poker games here. I think we're certainly in a good poker game. I'm not in love with calling with my ace-5 here. I think we're behind a lot. But we have backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, 2 pair outs, so we're certainly going to call once. We're going to 4-bet our ace-king off and not fold. Make a slightly larger 4-bet because I'm out of position. And now we're just going to fold the ace-5. So how long have we been going for now? 44 minutes. We'll maybe go for another 5 minutes or so. And then we'll call it a session. Now to see bet the ace queen. I don't think we're getting any better hands to fold, so if If we're not going to get better hands to fold, let's just not bother c-betting. And now we're going to c-bet for the same reasons before. Only we're not going to get better, but just for value, because things that weren't going to fold still might not fold on the queen. Not going to 3-bet the 8 because I don't particularly want to 3-bet them and get them in pre. Not going to c-bet the ace king on that board. I am going to lead the 2 8s of value on table 2. You're going to keep checking down with the ace king. Hope you have a winner. Which we did. Yep, so as you've seen these games, and it may just be because it's Friday night, who knows. They may be soft because it's Friday, but they haven't struck me as games that I would find too hard. If this is how the games always are at 100 and L on iPoker, I'd be delighted to play them on a daily basis, and it's certainly something I'll be looking into. Should I move my entire bankroll here, which I've still not decided to do for sure yet. I'm not going to 3-bet Renos with the King Queen because we so in 4-bet the King Jack earlier, and getting 4-bet by King Jack when we got King Queen off and we can't call, it's pretty much going to be a disaster for us. So it's a shame we check back in the ace come. I'm going to check call this turn and probably check fold the river. Although that river makes me less inclined to check fold. Depends how much he bets now. If he pots it, I'm going to fold. If he bets like 7 or 8, I'll probably call. And yep, he bets right in the middle of the numbers that I mentioned. I think I'm going to call though. I think the King Jack off may be curious enough. He might be the sort of guy who likes to try and buy pots. And unfortunately he's the guy who just checks back ace-x. So we've been squeezed here by somebody with a $60 stack. And I have no idea which way that is going. Certainly wasn't the way I wanted it to go. So we're going to be 4-betting and getting it in versus a $60 guy. And he didn't appear to want to get it in, which is a shame. But we flopped the earth, which is, well, not the earth, but we flopped really well. Going to see about this dry board here. And obviously we're just going to shove it in his face now. And we chopped the pot, which is unfortunate because I got quite excited about the situation. When we get called on that dry board in a 3-bet pot and we turn no equity whatsoever, I'm just done with it. Well, this guy's 3-betting is starting to just test my patience slightly, because he does appear to have been 3-betting a decent amount. But King Jack, we can't fight back with King Jack. But I will be looking forward to finding something that I can 4-bet in with soon and get it in. I think this King Queen might be a start. If he used to make another 3-bet here. And he just calls this time. Really like to figure this guy out. I'd like to figure him out. We need to be c-betting this board. I hate trying to c-bet bluff against these types of players because, I mean, they're just dumb. They're dense most of the time, and they don't fall as much as they should probably, and they strike me sort of guys to try and win every pot. But I mean, if I'm not going to c-bet that board against him when I've open blind versus blind, I guess I'm never going to c-bet. So no, we just have to concede the pot to him. I would love to have my hood running. Because I think we played now, we must have played maybe a good 400 hands. You know, we start developing reads on people at this point if we have a hood. Wow, I have been 3-bet an awful lot. That's one thing that's very noticeable about these games that doesn't happen anywhere near as much in the 20 other games, which you may probably expected. I've been 3-bet a lot more in this session. The hard thing to notice is have I been 3-bet by different players or pretty much the same players? I'm not familiar with the names enough yet to establish that. Right, Weiner, you limp raised earlier. I'm not going to give the opportunity to limp raise me again, so we're just going to over limp against you. And then you just pot, so yeah. We're happy to just get out of the way in that situation. These are all the things like Weiner there. I remembered him from limp racing earlier. Well, I don't know. I mean, he could be someone who's played in a lot of my pots. He could be 60/5 or he could be 18/3. I just don't know. This is where I would prefer a hood, because it's nice if I played these games regularly and I got to know the player names like I did on 888, I feel like I didn't need a hood as much. But right now, when we're dealing with relatively small sample size, having a hood would be quite useful. So hopefully the hood issue gets fixed sooner rather than later. Flat here to keep our friend Rinaldi's in the pot, or give him a chance to stay in the pot at least. Let's see about the 2 7s. Wow, that's a raise size. That is a big raise size. Again, I'm going to call here to keep Rinaldi's in the pot. And again, Rinaldi's decides not to oblige me by folding, which, again, I've got the impression he's a fish, but I mean, who knows? I mean, I've seen him short with that King Jack off. He may have just been tilted there. Since then, I've seen him fold 2 or 3 times and then turn up with A6 on an A-side board. So, who knows if my read on him's how accurate it is. It's going to go for some thin value here with my Ace Jack. Oh, flop the nuts. This might be a nice hand to end the video on if we win a big one. Obviously no reason to raise here. Yeah, I think we will end the video on this hand actually, because it's going to be a nice way to go out, I think. So we see our next big blinds. Again, I don't really see any reason to raise here. Building a pot would be nice because we are very, very deep. But that said, when he just goes half pot on the turn, I'm less convinced he's got a hand. And what size would I make it here if I was bluffing? We'll try 61. Seems reasonable. And he folded. But I kind of expect him to fold there because when you have the nuts and you raise the river in those spots, you know, it's hard for them to have anything they can call with. Defend the King Queen here. I think King Queen's just too strong. I've been in a few spots where I've made some tight laydowns, but I think folding King Queen there would just be just a bit too tight. And I'm going to check back here, and if he checks back, if he checks the turn as well, I'm going to assume he has a hand like Ace King or Ace Queen, and I'm going to then just fire 2 streets. If he bets here, I'm just going to call, and if he bets the river, I'm going to feel not too great about the situation. picked up the pot, and that's probably going to be close to the end of the video. Shame we didn't end it on the flush exactly. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm not sure, I think I may have lost money over the course of the video, but if I have, it's not been a lot, and we haven't ran great. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me play some higher stakes for a change. And if you don't subscribe to the videos, to my YouTube channel, please do. My ego wants me to have lots and lots of subscribers. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody, and until the next time, take care and goodbye.